This is a presentation for EAD 564, Law and Politics of Education through Jacksonville State University. My name is Davita Brown. At the time of this recording, I am an 11th grade English language arts teacher in a school located in Calhoun County, Alabama. I received my bachelor's degree from Jacksonville State University in secondary education with a focus on English language arts, and I am currently pursuing my master's degree in secondary English language arts as well. For this presentation, I will be researching and discussing unethical educator behavior and the implications and impact they have on students and the school system. For this presentation, I will be reviewing literature from the following sources. Every career is founded on education, and it is well known that teachers are the key to each profession. Because of this, teachers have been held in high esteem. Of course, teachers are not perfect, and they have intentionally and unintentionally contributed to and participated in unethical behaviors in all aspects of education. Over the years, with the increasing demands for accountability, funding, and the emergence of technology, the term unethical behavior has taken on a new meaning that is specific to the role of educators play in the school system. Teachers are held to extremely high standards, and many fail to reach these expectations by participating in unethical behaviors such as cheating on state assessments, engaging in inappropriate sexual behavior with students, and misusing social networking with students. For the purposes of this slideshow, unethical behavior is limited to the following actions. As our country progresses, many teachers experience severe stress and pressure for their students to reach and surpass benchmarks on standardized tests, ultimately so that the United States can academically compete with other states as well as other nations around the world. This pressure turned personal for teachers with federally implemented programs such as President Bush's No Child Left Behind and President Obama's Race to the Top initiative. According to the article, How and Why Convicted Atlanta Teachers Cheated on Standardized Tests by Valerie Strauss, these initiatives required that students achieve high scores regardless of obstacles that might prevent or hinder success. Many times, a teacher's evaluation and income were directly tied to these test scores, which is likely the only reason teachers would engage in the unethical practice of cheating on state assessments. According to Grace Chen of the Public School Review, many schools, particularly those in low-income areas that are already stretching resources too thin, are facing additional pressure to teach to the test in order to ensure all of their much-needed funding continues. Teachers need to understand that there are severely weighty consequences for cheating on state assessments. Teachers risk the possibility of their school or district losing their state funding, termination, or the revocation of their teaching certificate. This pressure is damaging to an educator's psyche. It causes undue stress that can affect an educator in their personal and professional life. However, an educator's sole purpose is to provide an education to his or her students. Cheating on state assessments detracts from the integrity of any educational institution and all its educators, as well as denies students the ability to display their competency and skill. In 2011, a state investigation concluded that many of the Atlanta students whose scores were falsified by nearly 200 teachers were consequently excluded from remedial education they otherwise needed. This brings the following questions to the forefront. When there is not an accurate account of student scores, how will educators identify which students need remediation or accommodations? Do they rely on in-class tests, observations, or work samples? Are IEPs disregarded? If teachers cannot be trusted to uphold the precepts of honesty and integrity, parents will not trust the school system. Government funding will be in jeopardy, and a shadow is cast upon every single educator, and every teacher's actions will be subject to intense scrutiny to ensure accuracy and accountability. Sadly, this behavior is only the beginning when it comes to unethical behaviors of educators. The article, Keeping Students Out of Harm's Way, Reducing Risks of Educator Sexual Misconduct, states that educators who engage in inappropriate sexual behavior with students betray the trust that parents and students put in the educational system. The authors of this article reviewed occurrences and consequences of these behaviors and produced 7 standards in the hopes of preventing this misconduct by altering the environment and reducing opportunities for offending. As of 2019, the United States does not have an official system that tracks instances of sexual abuse at the hands of educators. However, this article states that a national investigation revealed that there were 1,440 recorded cases of educator misconduct in public and private schools, K-12, between 2001 and 2005. Sadly, this is a frequent practice, and some school systems, when investigating and reporting educator sexual misconduct, discover that the offending teacher had engaged in the same or similar behavior at their former school. A recent 2-year national review of teacher misconduct found state education officials kept educator sexual misconduct allegations secret, failed to report teachers' resignations to state licensing officials, and allowed abusive teachers to find jobs elsewhere. In an effort to combat this problem of ethics, the authors of this article have developed 7 standards of practice to help schools mitigate risks to students and reduce the likelihood of institutional legal liability. These standards involve the screening and selection process of faculty and staff members, enforcing strict codes of conduct, developing and maintaining a safe learning environment, creating clear policies to regulate staff and student communication in regards to electronic and social media use, educating all stakeholders about the expectations, consequences, and prevention of educator sexual misconduct, the supervision of all faculty and staff members, and the implementation of a clear process and policy for reporting concerns of inappropriate behavior without the fear of retaliation. The authors of the article, Teachers, Students, and Social Media, A Recipe for Disaster, discuss the importance of each stakeholder having a clear understanding of their expected behavior on social media platforms. It has become integral for schools to have policies and procedures in place to manage the risks that arise from the misuse of social media. Staff and students need to have clear guidelines and expectations on what behavior is acceptable and what is not. What may be considered as common sense behavior cannot be assumed to be so to everyone, so clear and firm guidelines are important in order to be proactive against preventing these behaviors. The article also proposes a few guidelines to assist in maintaining clear and consistent electronic and social networking boundaries between students and staff. Some of these guidelines include monitoring usage of school-provided devices and networks, maintaining an ongoing discussion of social media expectations between students and faculty to serve as a reminder of the policies being consistent in upholding the expectations of the policy for all involved, discussions of the legalities of breaking the rules, and having a reporting process if the rules are broken. Many of the processes implemented to prevent types of teacher behavior are common. Melody Rail, author of Digital Disruptions, Handling Social Media Misuse by Students and Educators, discusses social media usage in a different manner. She remarks upon the positive aspects of 21st century learners and that social media offers unique opportunities for students to learn, but also acknowledges that it has its own unique dangers and must be carefully utilized. Effective use of social media offers the opportunity for teaching and learning on a global scale. It provides educators with a unique opportunity to expand the student experience well beyond the local brick and mortar environment. However, use of social media by students and educators outside the classroom can have a profoundly negative impact on the learning environment. In a world where students live life online, social networking offers an opportunity for educators to connect with their students through a platform that speaks their language. This can be a beneficial opportunity to build mentoring relationships. However, the problem exists on this exceptionally fine line. Like many others, RAIL proposes that administrators have clear guidelines regarding their expectations and even acknowledges that drawing this boundary can be difficult, which speaks to the importance of having one at all. As the world changes, so does the role of an educator. Teachers are held in high esteem because of the nature of their job, molding the minds of future generations of citizens and leaders. Now, more than ever, it is crucial that educators uphold the tenets of the profession to be a guide to those in their care, to assist in the development of students, to exhibit and maintain the integrity of the academic setting, and to provide a safe, caring, and productive learning environment for those students. When teachers engage in inappropriate behaviors, when these tenets are violated, the well-being of those for whom the tenets were created is at risk. In a world that is, for better or worse, constantly changing, teachers must uphold the integrity of the profession so that education can remain what it should be, a trusted institution that enriches the lives of everyone. Thank you for viewing this presentation on unethical behaviors of educators. For questions, feel free to contact me at this address.